Google AI Studio can build amazing websites and web apps in minutes. The design looks great, the project feels finished, everything looks ready. But there's one problem. It's not actually live. And this is exactly where a lot of people get stuck. They build something great inside Google AI Studio, but then they don't know how to actually publish it, connect it to hosting, or update it properly later. So in this video, I'll show you the full workflow to take your project from preview to a real live website. So this is the project inside Google AI Studio. And this is the same project live on a real domain. And later in this video, I'll make a small change inside Google AI Studio, push it again, and show you how that update appears on the live site too. So let's do it step by step. The workflow is simple. First, we create the project. Then we save it to GitHub. Then we deploy it with Hostinger. And finally, we push changes live. Step 1. Create the project. So first, here we are inside Google AI Studio. I'm going to quickly generate a simple website. To keep things fast, I already have a prompt ready. You can easily use ChatGPT to create something similar. I'll paste the prompt here, click Build, and let it generate the project. Now, I'm not going to go deep into this part because this video is focused on deployment. If you want, I already have other videos where I show how to build these projects step by step. What matters here is this. Once your project looks good here, that does not mean it's live. At this point, it's still just inside the editor. So now, the goal is to take this project and actually publish it. Now, this is where things start to get important. Let's connect this project to GitHub. At the top, I'll click on Settings. You might also see this under Publish, but I prefer using Settings since it's more consistent. From here, I'll open this menu and select GitHub. If this is your first time, you'll need to sign in to your GitHub account. So I'll click Sign in to GitHub, and you can continue with Google to make it faster. I'll just select my account and continue. Now you might be asked to create a username and finish setting up your account. And then you'll see this step, Install and Authorize. Just click Install and Authorize to connect everything. And that's it. Now GitHub is connected. Also, quick note, GitHub is completely free, so you don't need to pay anything for this part. Now let's create the repository. Here, you can choose any name you want. Just pick something you can recognize later. I'll call mine Nexora AI Website. For the description, you can write anything. I'll just add a short description for this project. Now, for visibility, I'm going to choose Private. This means only I can see the repository. If you choose Public, anyone can access your code, which is fine, but for most projects, I prefer keeping it private. Now I'll click Create GitHub Repository. And finally, I'll click Stage and commit all changes. And just like that, the entire project is now pushed to GitHub. Now that the project is on GitHub, we can actually make it live. So let's deploy it. For hosting, I'm going to use Hostinger. I've been using it for a long time, and it's been very reliable for these kinds of projects. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to follow along. So I'll open Hostinger and click on View Plans. Here you'll see a few different plans. What matters for us is support for managed Node.js web apps. For example, the business plan allows you to host up to 5 web apps, and the cloud startup plan goes up to 10. You'll also notice the total number of websites is higher, but that includes regular sites, not just web apps. For me, the business plan is more than enough. It already gives everything I need for these projects, so that's the one I usually go with. So I'll click Choose Plan. Now here you can choose the hosting duration. By default, it's set to a longer period, and that's because the longer you choose, the cheaper it gets. If you switch to a monthly plan, the price goes up a lot. Personally, I don't recommend going month to month for something like this. Hosting is something you'll use long-term, so it makes more sense to choose at least 12 months. In my case, I usually go with the longest option. It's cheaper overall, and I don't have to worry about renewing it every few months. So I'll keep it on 48 months. Now before we continue, you can actually apply a discount here. I have a coupon code that gives you 10% off. I'll just paste it here and click Apply. As you can see, the price drops instantly. If you want to use it, I'll leave it in the description. Now I'll click Continue. Now it will ask you to create an account. I'll just sign up using my Google account. After that, you'll reach the payment step. And here, you'll see multiple payment methods available depending on your country. So you shouldn't have any problem completing this step. I'll go ahead and submit the payment. Once the payment is done, you'll see this screen. I'll click on Get Started. You might see a few setup questions here, but you can just skip them. We don't need any of this right now. And this will take you to your dashboard. From here, we'll go straight to websites and click on Add Website. Here, choose Node.js web app. Next, you'll select your domain. You can use the free domain you got with your plan. I'll select mine and click Next. Now it will ask where your project is coming from. You have two options here, either import a GitHub repository or upload your files manually. I always recommend using GitHub. And this is exactly why we connected our project earlier, because this makes everything much easier, especially when you want to update your project later. So I'll click Continue with GitHub and select the repository we created. In my case, it's this one right here. Then click Continue. Now here, you'll see the build settings. In most cases, Hostinger will detect everything automatically. But to avoid any issues, I'll show you the safest way to do this. Most projects created with Google AI Studio use Vite, but instead of guessing, you can simply go back to your project and ask, what framework is this project using? And as you can see, it tells us exactly what we need. In this case, it's using Vite. So here, I'll just make sure the framework preset is set to Vite. You don't need to worry about versions. Just make sure this matches. Now here, there's one more important option, and this only matters if your project uses APIs. For example, if your website includes something like a chatbot or any feature powered by Gemini or Google AI, then you'll need to add your API key here. If your project doesn't use anything like that, you can skip this step completely and leave it empty. But if you do need it, let me show you exactly how to set it up. Go back to Google AI Studio, then click on Get API Key. From here, click Create API Key. You can name it anything you want. I'll just give it a simple name. And if you don't already have a project here, just click Create Project, give it any name you want, and create it. Then click Create Key. And just like that, your API key is ready. Now copy it, go back to Hostinger, and click Add under Environment Variables. Now here's the important part. Different projects may expect different variable names. So instead of guessing which one your project needs, I'm going to use the safest method and add the same API key multiple times with different names. This helps avoid errors later and makes sure everything works properly after deployment. So I'll use these names: API key, Google API key, Gemini API key, Vite Google API key, and Vite Gemini API key. And for all of them, I'll paste the same API key. I know this is a small extra step, but it's worth doing because it can save you a lot of time later if your project depends on Gemini or any Google AI feature. Once that's done, click Finish. And now everything is ready. So I'll go ahead and click Deploy. All right, and now the deployment is complete. So I'll click on Go to Dashboard, and from here, I'll open the domain. And as you can see, the website is now live. Fully working, no errors, everything is running exactly as expected. And keep in mind, this isn't just a simple page. This is a full web app with animations and even an interactive 3D element that reacts to the mouse. And it's all running smoothly. So at this point, your project is officially live on the internet. Anyone can access it. You can share it, you can send it to clients, or even start monetizing it. Now this is where everything starts to feel real, because what you built with AI is no longer just a local project. It's a real, live website. But there's still one last thing we need to test. Because building and deploying is one thing, but what really matters is what happens when you make changes. So in the final step, I'm going to show you how updates work and how every change you make automatically goes live on your website, so you don't have to redeploy everything manually every time. So for this test, I'm going to make one simple change. I'll go back to Google AI Studio and change the main headline from Meet Your Digital Self to Build Your AI Website. Just a small change, so it's easy to spot. Now I'll send the prompt and wait for it to update. All right, the change is done. Now, this is where a lot of people get confused. Changing something in Google AI Studio doesn't automatically change the live website. You still need to send that update to GitHub. So I'll go to Settings, then GitHub, and click on Stage and Commit All Changes. And this is the full workflow. You make the change in Google AI Studio, push it to GitHub, and then Hostinger automatically picks up that update and applies it to your live website. So once everything is connected, you don't need to manually redeploy the whole project every time. Now, let's go back to the live site, refresh the page, and as you can see, the new headline is already there. Just like that. So now you've seen the full process, from building to going live, to updating your site whenever you want. If you want to follow this exact process step by step, I created a full guide for this video. You'll find it in the description. And if you want to deploy your own websites or web apps, I personally use Hostinger. You'll find the link in the description, and you can also use my code for a discount. And once you understand this workflow, you can use it for your own projects or even for clients. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.